Hi, I'm Michele Saumberfield. I was just noticing while I was setting up the camera that my hair is pretty much now the same color as my cat's. All right, there he is. Don't you have the same color hair? Oh, no. Stay out of Mommy's coffee. Stay out of Mama's coffee. Mommy needs your coffee. Yeah, Mommy needs her coffee. And don't spill the coffee on the computer, baby kitty. All right. Okay, let Mommy hook up the computer. Mommy has to rehook up the computer. Don't bite, Mama. All right. Sorry about that. Just a sec. So, videotaping with cats is always extra fun and extra difficult. Okay. Now take a seat, baby. There he is. There's my baby kitty. He just had a treat. I had to give him something to eat so that he would actually not bite me, because he gets kind of nippy. He doesn't like it that it's snowy out and it's cold, so he'll just go out. I took this laundry basket, this big oblong laundry basket, and I put it upside down, and I put it right outside the door on our back deck, because even the deck has a lot of snow on it. And I even cleared some of the snow off, but it was just too much and I have a bad back. So I sit Catsby outside on this makeshift platform, so he's not sitting right in the snow. And he can only handle about maybe 10 minutes outside. He thinks he wants to go out. He gets out there, he's freezing after 10 minutes, and then he wants back in. So because of that, he's kind of rambunctious. He's sleeping more than normal. I guess it's like kitty cat depression, because he can't go outside and enjoy himself. But also, he starts nipping at my shoulder when I do things and he's got spiky little teeth. And he's not a mean kitty. It's just that he's frustrated because he doesn't understand the winter. And he doesn't realize, okay, just wait a couple months, then your backyard will be nice again. So he's just really full of himself. And but yeah, I noticed that my hair now looks the color of his. Well, I finally look like I'm really his mama, right? Meow. So anyway, I was putting on my red shirt because I love red. And I thought, oh, my little baby, Mitzi Francine. She and I look like twins. All right, anyway. I love her. She's a retro doll. She's actually a bunny. She's got bunny ears and a little bunny tail. And I've only had her maybe like a year or so, I think. I don't know, something like that. But oh, see, he's biting me. But she is the same kind of doll that I grew up with, and I put a picture of Mary and Emily, who look like her, in my first book that I published. I have changed their clothes so they're not wearing the same original little red jumper that these dolls come with back in the 60s. My nanny, my mother's mother, my grandmother, had made Mary and Emily some little dresses along the line. And so that's what they're wearing in the picture that I put in my first book. But anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about this. I just, it's the COVID lockdown still. People don't go out as much because you have to wear masks and it's harder to breathe and all of that stuff. And so I think I'm getting stir crazy, and it's the weekend and I don't go out that much anymore. I go to get gas, I go to get food, and I go to work out at the gym. And I avoid going out any other time. And I do wear a mask. I feel very, very adamant that it's important to at least attempt to be safe for yourself and for other people. It's important to respect other people. And some places actually require you to wear a mask. And so, yeah, I don't want to get into any grumbles with people about that. I was actually at a family event, I think it was Thanksgiving, with my boyfriend's family, and they're all very nice and kind and welcoming, great people. But I was really actually appalled that some of the older cousins who are like in their mid-20s to mid-30s were so into protesting wearing masks during the COVID season that they actually were giving people a hard time at certain establishments. Like, for instance, in November when they went to cast their ballot to elect the president, the one nephew was actually bragging about how he was kind of arguing and giving this one guy who was trying to uphold the rule to wear a mask, he was giving him a hard time. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, I just sat there, because I mean, it was after the fact, but I said to my boyfriend, I don't want to go to any of these events anymore if I have to listen to people, you know, who want to break rules and want to defy logic and think it's cool to give other people a hard time, and they're trying to enforce safety and stuff. So anyway, but that gets back to, yeah, we're still in the middle of the COVID virus situation, the pandemic. It is February 20th, a Saturday. And you know, we're still all cooped up more than normal, and it's hard, it's frustrating, and it is for me as a person. So I talk to my dolls. Actually, I don't spend that much time with her, but I do kind of shuffle her around the room depending upon what I'm cleaning up or what I'm doing. And it's hard for the pets too, because, you know, the pets have us home all the time. They don't have the same kind of space they used to have when they used to have, you know, more time to nap and do things without the adults bitching and moaning at home about the pandemic or about having to work from home or whatever. So it's hard on everybody. I think it trickles down. But I have a friend who's very wise. He's very opinionated. He does a lot of entertainment rants, I guess you would call them, online. And he talks a lot about how people bitch and moan and complain about things, even though they have so much to be thankful for. And, you know, that is so true. I have so much to be thankful for. I'm not starving. I still have a job. Our company is accommodating everyone so we can work from home, which is great. You know, there's pros and cons to it, but overall, you know, the point is I get to keep my job. I changed my shirts because I was making more than one video during this one same day, Saturday, February 20th, and I wanted to have something different on in my second video than I had on my first, okay? Before I had a purple shirt, you know, so I have clothes. Granted, I get a lot of them at stores where they don't cost that much, even, you know, thrift stores like Goodwills and stuff. I go to other places where you can get a nice top for $20 instead of spending $50 or $60 for some big designer. But the point is I have a lot to be thankful for. You know, I'm thankful that cheap reading glasses can come 3 in a box for $14.99, you know, because I break them and I lose them. And so I'm grateful that I can buy a bunch of them and have them all around my house, couple in my car, couple at my desk at work when I do have to go into work every other week. There's so much to be grateful for. What is there to complain about, right? You know, that you gotta balance things out. So, but anyway, I can't explain that to the cat. The cat doesn't understand. So he's kind of been biting me on the shoulder if I don't give him undivided attention. And so that's where we were. He's in the room right now. He's over there. He's not he's not nipping at me right now, but he joined me in the room. So I'm going to read another poem by Monica WISHBRIAR. We are on a poetry roll here. I'm going to drink a little more coffee here just so I can speak. Okay. And let's move on. This is a very short poem. This one isn't one of the longer ones. This poem is called Steady by Monica Wishbriar. Steady yourself on bended knee. Lick me between the legs. Give me your tongue in niceties and vigorously earn my praise. You are so used to dominating, so I'll give you a reason to hush. Do not speak, do not rant. Proffer generous cause to blush. And when you're done, lay me down and join me on the bed. And I will unbuckle that leather belt and in reciprocity give you head. Heavy breathing, deeply sighing, we will meld together. For I know that you will be a very thirsty lover. Let me quench the heat in you, douse your fervent flame. Allow me to render my womanliness upon your flesh without shame. And in the daylight, as we dally, light eclipses propensity to hide. Moving in stark nakedness, I'll take you deep inside. This is all I ask of you. Get up and leave when it's over. But do not mistake what I'm conveying, my dear. I expect a paramount lover. That was called Steady by Monica Wishbriar. So I think it's interesting. A friend of mine was mentioning on a video the other day about how superficial people are sometimes. And I talk about that at length in the video I just taped an hour or so ago. But he was also mentioning, which is true, people crave the human touch. I think he might have said this in a writing, though, as opposed to a video. He was talking about how everybody craves the human connection, the human something. And it makes me think about these poems by Monica Wishbriar, which seem to be about spurned love or fantasized love, being jilted, being misunderstood, but there's always sexual innuendo, if not outright sexual dialogue in these poems by her. And it makes me think about how when you're young, at least for me, all right, I can only speak for me, you know, I was taught virginity, virginity, virginity because I was raised very Catholic, and I'm not knocking virginity at all. I think that it's great if somebody wants to be chaste. You won't get pregnant. You won't feel used. There won't be those big misunderstandings. There won't be confusing love and sex. There won't be as much worry that someone is cheating on you because you haven't given up as much or experienced as much, I should say, maybe. You're not going to get pregnant. You're not going to get VD, whatever. It's safer. And some people really value virginity for various reasons. I mean, it could be your absolute fear that you're going to go to hell if you have sex outside of marriage, which I don't believe. But it could also be that you really want to share sex only with one person and you believe you will commit yourself to one person someday and that'll be it. And things may or may not work out, but, you don't trash your ideals just because things may not work out. You hold on to your ideals. If you have ideals, you have ideals. And that's beautiful. And that's wonderful. And probably you should try to meet people who are like-minded. But I think about how I had so many ideals in my mind because I would watch movies where everything seemed, everybody has an orgasm. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's passionate. Everything is perfect. Everyone's experienced. Everyone's, heightened, wonderful. And I also had a lot of feelings myself, and it's very powerful. Erotic impulses are very powerful, and fantasies are amazing, right? I think so much, though, sometimes. I don't give it a lot of thought anymore because I'm in a long-term relationship now for 17 years, 17 and a half. But I look back at what I thought sex was going to be when I was younger compared to what it turned out to be. I mean, it can be such a variety of things. I mean, you can feel used. You can feel misguided, misunderstood. There are people who want you to look perfect. There's people who think you should be experienced like a porn star. There's people who don't want you to be experienced because they think if you're too experienced, then you've done too much with other people. You know, there's people who are possessive. There's people who want everything to be free flow and they don't want to be tied down, and they don't want to tie you down because they don't want any kind of strings. There are people who want to demand something of you but don't want anything put back on them. There's just so much. And sex can be beautiful and shared and amazing. Sex can be fun. Sex can be icky and degrading. Sex can just be routine and boring. Sex can be so many things. And I think that's what's interesting about poems where someone's expressing heightened emotion, and there's always the sexual, innuendos that come into it, because I know from experience that sex can be so many things. It isn't always the best thing in the world. It can be great. It's a part of life. It's not all of life. And it can really fall short if you're involved with someone who you've got nothing else going with. But then again, I don't want to say that, casual sex is just straight across the board bad, because, I've had some that was nice. So anyway, I think that's one of the things that's interesting about poems where sex is woven into all of the other, emotions and facets, and it's because I know as a person in my 50s now that it is such a complex thing. It seems like it should be a simple thing. It seems like it should just be blissful. But it's so many things. It's so much more than that. It's like a tool almost. It's like a painting, It's like, and it's like, the Mona Lisa is beautiful in its own way, but you wouldn't hang it up on every single wall. It wouldn't look good maybe if the paint on the wall was purple. It wouldn't look good maybe in a house where the wall was slanted and there was only this much space to hang it. It's not like a one-size-fits-all type of thing. Well, I hate to bring up size. Medium. But sex is like a work of art in a certain sort of way. But then, art is subjective. Not everybody likes the same thing, and under certain circumstances, the same piece doesn't always work, So anyway, I don't want to belabor this. I don't want to be crazy, and I didn't mean to get into sex. But I think that's one of the things that's interesting about poetry that uses that very common, human, raw, expectation filled happenstance that people get involved in. Poetry that involves sexuality is, I don't know, it's hard to explain how I feel about it, but I like it. And I think I just kind of gravitate toward it perhaps because it did seem so taboo to me as a younger child who as a young child, I'm not a child anymore, but as a person who always felt like, oh my God, get in line and don't be bad and don't be improper and be a proper lady and all of that. And poetry seems like such a safe place to express sexuality. And especially since there's no visual, then you don't have to worry about, you can imagine the words, make it what you want, as opposed to being shown a picture where everything's defined. And so I think poetry really has a special place, and I really like reading it, I think. It's an experience. And I guess part of what I'm trying to say is that I hope that people aren't offended by the poetry I've been reading. But I'm reading it because I'm enjoying it, and everybody has the ability to click and just click the videos off and not watch them. You do not have to watch them just because they're posted. And I won't be offended if what I like is not everybody else's cup of tea, because we all like something different. But anyway, so that was poem number 10, written by Monica WISHBRIAR. So, okay, now my baby kitty's over there. He's a good boy now. He's just sitting there. What's he doing? Tap, 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 tap. He's sitting here. Look at him. My nice big extension cord thing that I have on the bed. I keep it on the bed because, I don't have it always on the bed. It's usually at the side of the bed, but because I've been working from home off of my bed ever since the COVID lockdown started. So, right, kitty cat? Anyway, I'm just going to finish my nice cup of coffee here, probably get some more and warm it up, and have a really fabulous Saturday, everybody.